You're listening to the Really Useful Podcast. This is the tech podcast for technophobes from makeuseof.com. My name is Christian Corley, and with me is Gavin Phillips. And in this week's show, we're going to be looking at home media streaming devices, sticks, boxes that you connect to your TV, connect to the internet, and then enjoy the magic of Netflix, Disney Plus, or any of those services. BBC iPlayer if you're in the UK. Something American based if you're in the US. That was vague, wasn't it? Gavin, how are you doing?
Yes, very well, Christian. Christmas decks are all down, and we're ploughing straight into 2022, aren't we?
We certainly are, and a very belated Happy New Year to anyone listening to us in June. Streaming television sticks. We've looked at these repeatedly on Make Use Of, and surprisingly, we haven't really talked about them on the Really Useful Podcast. So we're going to kind of look, and we're going to be talking about this largely from our own point of view and experience, but we're going to be looking at sticks and the software that runs on them, the operating systems. Now, it's very easy to completely ignore the fact that they are running operating systems, but they are. So we'll be looking at that as well. Gavin, what are you currently using to stream TV?
Well, I'll preface it with we have quite an old TV downstairs. I've had it since maybe 2010. So it's in terms of TV technology, it's a bit of a duffer really these days. So in that, I have an Amazon Fire Stick connected to the back of it so that we can access Netflix, previously mentioned iPlayer and whatnot. So for us in our house, we don't actually have a regular TV aerial in the house. So it's actually our only way of getting sort of live TV or streaming TV to the main television in the house.
That's interesting. We also don't have a working TV aerial.
Aha. So was that a decision you made, or just it broke and the alternatives are now that much better?
It came off the roof, and we decided to leave it off the roof. Apart from the poly bit still there, because we had satellite TV at the time, so there didn't seem to be any point to it. But over time, we now don't use satellite TV either. Like you, our only recourse for live TV is through a streaming device.
Yeah, I think more people than ever are doing that now, aren't they? So the whole cable cutting scene, which encourages people to, give up your cable subscription, give up your satellite TV, and use streaming services, which is really good and gives you more access to a lot of different content. But the flip side of that now is we're at the point where many people feel like they're probably paying the same as they were for their cable subscription, aren't they?
But it's interesting you say that, because maybe around the time you got your TV, maybe going a few years later, 2015, cable cutting was kind of a niche thing, wasn't it? It was a bit sort of, what do they call it in the US? Prepper-ish, wasn't it? It was cut your cable, go off the grid, and hoard loads of food and fuel. It was bundled in with all that sort of thing. But cutting cable has kind of accidentally gone mainstream, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think more people than ever don't necessarily want to be tied to a cable subscription that gives you bundles in a lot of channels you're never ever going to watch. I remember the first time my family ever had Sky in the UK. That's the UK equivalent of cable TV.
Yeah.
And running through the channels and being like, wow, this is amazing, up until channel 50 or 60 or 100, and then realizing that the rest of it was absolute rubbish that you would never watch ever.
I remember when Sky Digital came along, and it gave them the opportunity to publish more channels on Sky TV, and also games that you could play through your TV box. And I suppose that was the early day of an app that you play on your TV device, wasn't it? Basically.
Oh yeah, I remember the one, and this is very UK style. Beehive Bedlam.
Beehive Bedlam.
Which was a bit of a killer game.
I spent so much time playing that game. It's not funny.
But you're absolutely right, though, in terms of it was a TV package that came with your programs, but you could also use the box for other forms of entertainment, couldn't you? Which
Yeah,
we hadn't really had before.
no, absolutely, absolutely. So, well, teletext aside, I suppose, but that's a different podcast entirely. So these days, you'd probably be looking at something like a Roku or a Fire TV or Apple TV or Nvidia Shield, which uses Android TV, which some TVs use, your existing TV box or your games console, or you might have a DIY option. It might be you might have something installed on a PC that is then connected to your TV. That's the kind of the old style home theater PC system that most people don't bother with now because it's not really efficient. You might use a Raspberry Pi as well. There are ways to use Raspberry Pi to host the apps that you want. There's apps that will run on Kodi that you can install on Raspberry Pi. You can use Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, all of those things.
Oh, what about the Chromecast?
I don't like Chromecast because
No.
it's basically just mirroring, isn't it? And I mean, Chromecast Ultra at least has the option of connecting an Ethernet cable, but at the same, and I like the way they implement that through the plug, but at the same time, it is really just mirroring, isn't it? So it's not really for, I mean, it's useful, but it's not really the solution, is it? That you want from your apps because you're relying on a mobile device all the time when you're using a Chromecast.
Yeah, and you don't have that same ability to flick through on your TV to choose things. And if you're doing it wirelessly as well, there's always the issue of downtime and stuff like that, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I've just remembered my dad has a multimedia Blu-ray player, so it does Blu-ray. It has USB slots, and it also offers a few apps. And also, the old satellite box that we used to use and the current cable TV boxes, they also include apps, although they can be very, very sluggish.
Yeah, gosh. Yeah, that sounds really interesting though.
So pretty much wherever you're looking, there is an app-based system that you can use for streaming TV. Now, we're probably going to be looking more at the ones that are more recognised media streaming devices, not ones that do television. Cracker. So you said you're using a Fire TV stick?
Yeah, we've got a Fire TV stick. Oh, excuse me. It was quite an early one. I don't think it's one of the nice 4K ones that they have now. But equally, it wouldn't be useful if it was anyway,
Yeah.
because that TV doesn't do 4K. So,
Yeah.
but that's definitely something worth considering if you have a 4K TV. The Amazon Fire TV stick and I believe the Fire Cube do 4K video streaming output, which is really good.
I think almost.
So, what do you have?
We have downstairs, we have a Roku Express,
Ah, okay. That sounds quite cool.
which is, yeah, it's not bad. It wasn't too expensive. It's under £40. I think they're around $50 or something. And it has on it pretty much everything that we want to watch. So we can put Disney Plus on it, Amazon Prime Video, because I have an Amazon Prime annual subscription, so I get Prime Video. Netflix, which we share. Well, actually, we share Disney Plus and we share Netflix with my wife's sister. BritBox, which took a long time to arrive on Roku. It was getting to the point where basically we were streaming from other devices through the Xbox in order to watch anything on BritBox, which was a bit of a pain. So the app arrived eventually anyway. Well, yeah, I mean, almost everything is on the Roku, so it's really easy. It's really convenient. You can power it independently of the TV, or you can power it with the TV. We were doing it independently of the TV, so you'd switch the TV on, then you switch the Roku on. But actually, if you power it off the TV, if the TV has a suitable USB port for powering a device, then it comes on when the TV comes on. So it's not using any sort of background power or anything like that. That's the device that I'm particularly happy with. We also have a Fire TV, and like yours, it's an older non-4K version. We have that in our bedroom, and that's okay. I don't mind it too much, but I do find that, I mean, the two things are completely different. The Roku is more of a list of apps, relatively attractively placed, and you can scroll through them and get to what you want. Amazon TV is the Fire TV stick. It's just trying to make you buy stuff constantly or click on stuff constantly, isn't it?
I do find that. So I know when the kids on it, every now and then I've come down and found them actually looking at like an Amazon page on the TV, and I've gone, how, like, sort of, how did you even get there?
Yeah.
Like, you're being sort of pushed to buy something. I think that's probably also them, hitting tension. So it's not necessarily like being shoved directly down your throat, but the opportunity to click on something and buy something is absolutely there. There's also the thing where you have to buy more apps, don't you? Which I've never been 100% keen on. So I mean, you got your ones that you have your for that you pay for, which is fine. But then if you want your Fire Stick to do anything outside the prescribed, you will plug it in and it will work, then you end up having to fork out a lot more. Like if you wanted to stream your PC to your Fire Stick or something like that, you end up having to pay more money again.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a lot of paying for stuff. There's also that thing where you can sign up to other services through the Amazon Prime, and that just gets a bit messy, I find. I don't really think it's a good idea. I mean, now saying what I just said about the Amazon stick, we had an Apple TV some years ago, and it's in a drawer because we stopped using it for one reason or another. But I did find that Apple was also very keen on getting you to click on things to buy them.
Yeah, I've must admit I've never really used an Apple TV that much, but I guess at some point in every streaming system there are points where they're going to want to upsell you things, aren't they? It's
Yeah,
part of the
yeah, I
package.
guess. But then again, I haven't really found that with the Roku. So,
Oh, really?
no, no, it's basically just it's really nice and easy to use, and you're not finding yourself buying stuff. They have an advert down the side of the screen, but that's about it. So, and it's usually for another channel that you haven't used. So that's about it. So I find it a lot easier to use. It's less busy. You can find what you want faster. So
Yes, I guess that's what you want, isn't it? You don't want to be bombarded with anything that isn't exactly what you want to watch. You
exactly,
want to go
yeah.
in, turn it on, search, and view.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think from that point of view, they get it absolutely right. Now, I am basing this entirely on the Roku Express, and I know they both have the same operating system, but it might be different with the Roku Premiere Plus. So, uh, if that is the case, just let us know. There are other. Have you used an NVIDIA Shield?
I had a go on an Nvidia Shield at an event at one point. I'm not really sure why it was there, but they were just, showing how it would work in conjunction with. It uses Android TV, doesn't it? So
Yeah.
they were showing how it links up to Android TV and how you can, download apps on the Shield and then get them on your TV and stuff like that. So it looked quite interesting. I think the overall ecosystem Shield seems really useful because you're directly dialed into the Google Store or Play Store, as it's known now, isn't it? You can use quite a lot of apps that you might not get support for on other platforms, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, so that sounds quite good. And obviously, there's a gaming element to it as well, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. So the whole thing with Nvidia, if you don't know, listener, Nvidia are one of the biggest graphics card producers in the world. So they're very much interested in getting you involved in gaming as well. So you connect up various different game controllers to it with via Bluetooth. I think the Shield outputs at 4K as well, so you can play some pretty high quality games on your TV through the Shield, and you also get access to the GeForce Now streaming service, which is Nvidia's high-end video game streaming. So if you don't have a game, oh no, sorry, that's not how it works. If you do have a game on another machine, you can stream it to the Nvidia Shield and play it on your television at very, very high quality, like your network speeds pending, of course.
Now, what's interesting about that particularly is that it's something that's increasingly being added to smart TVs and streaming sticks. And there is the Steam Link app, which is already available on Android and iOS, has been appearing on other devices recently. It's coming to LG WebOS TVs and to Android TVs from Samsung. And apparently, the standard, you'd have to do a bit of messing about with this, but you can apparently get the Android Steam Link app to work on the Fire TV stick.
Oh, well, that would be quite cool, wouldn't it? So if you've got an extensive Steam library, you don't need to do anything else. You just
And
plug
who
it.
hasn't these days?
Yeah, exactly. It's the same with Steam, Epic Games, and all of
Yeah.
those. Yeah, well, I could go for a bit of that, I have to say. I guess it's one of those, as long as it works easily enough that you're not mucking around and it just connects and you play, as we were saying with, viewing your television programs, you don't want to have to spend ages fiddling around connecting it. Otherwise, you might as well just go and sit back upstairs or in
Yeah.
your office or whatever and play the game there, or just switch to your Xbox or your PlayStation or whatever's already underneath the television.
And we'll take a moment from our usual podcast proceedings to just remind you that the Really Useful Podcast can be found pretty much anywhere you find podcasts. So we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, we're on Google Podcasts. We're hosted at transistor.fm, so you can find us there as well. We're also on YouTube and, of course, on makeuseof.com. Now, however you subscribe to the Really Useful Podcast and listen to us, it would be amazing if you could take a moment to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. That will help us to find new listeners and take our podcast to ever greater heights. You'll find the link to our Apple Podcast page in the show notes. Thanks a lot. Now, as I mentioned earlier on, there is a different dimension to this, and that is the TVs themselves. Now, we are mainly talking about the sticks, but increasingly TVs are smart TVs, and they come with an operating system. I've already mentioned Android TV and LG's WebOS. There are several others available as well, and these all come with apps available. So we've got the Roku TV, which is an actual TV that comes with Roku OS installed. There's WebOS, which is the current version of an operating system developed by HP many years ago for a tablet, which was a really, really good tablet. But it just didn't take off in face of the onslaught from the already existing iPad and the coming Android tablets. It just sadly never took off. I really liked my HP touchpad. Anyway, Android TV, Tizen OS, which is a Linux-based operating system, and Fire TV edition. And of course, this is the TV version, Fire TV edition, Amazon's Alexa TV, as it's known. So those are all operating systems that work in more or less the same way as the stick versions. But the thing about this is that as smart TVs become more and more prominent, there's not really much point in a stick, is there?
No, I guess not. For people still desperately clinging on to their old televisions, they're vital. But yeah, I think it's quite a hard push these days actually to buy a TV without a smart feature, isn't it?
I think you're right. Yeah, I bought a TV last year, and this is actually now you've made me think of this. I'm going to have to look this up because just for the benefit of the listener, we prepare what we're going to talk about beforehand, but we didn't actually consider this aspect of it. As I said, I bought a TV last year, and I decided that actually what it came with, I wasn't really interested in, which was Android TV. I found it intrusive and annoying, and it was just getting in the way. So what I wanted to do was disable it, and I found it really, really difficult to disable it. And the best way of doing that was to set the TV to come onto one of the HDMI channels.
Oh, so just ignore it
Just
completely and
ignore
go
it
around
completely.
it,
Yeah,
basically.
sign out. I signed into it when I first set up the TV, and I just found it really annoying and irritating, and it was just it was. I found it a bit even more intrusive than the Amazon Fire environment. So yeah, I basically ignore it completely now. Just go straight to the HDMI channel where we've got the Roku connected to, and then we've got a different HDMI channel where we've got 3 games consoles connected, and then we've got a spare HDMI channel in case one of them breaks, as all 3 did on our previous TV. In getting my head around that, I discovered that you still can get dumb TVs. So you can still buy TVs without all these smarts. Unfortunately, they're known as monitors.
They don't call them TVs
No,
anymore.
they don't call them TVs anymore. No, they're basically monitors. So if you wanted to buy a dumb TV, you would have to buy a monitor, and consequently, you would probably have to buy some speakers for it as well.
Oh, well, that's frustrating, surely.
Yeah,
There's got to be a significant number of people that aren't interested in any form of smart television watching. They just want a regular television that has normal speakers. I'm genuinely quite surprised by this. Like there's got to be enough people out there to warrant not having smart tech.
I would think so as well. Now, if you do a search on Amazon for non-smart TV, you will get a few results, but they are decreasing. And in those list of results, you will find things that say Amazon certified, Alexa built in, which is not smart. So it's like Amazon is gaming the search results there somewhat. It is increasingly frustrating, but another thing I noticed is you can still get HD ready TVs, and these typically won't come with smart things. But HD ready basically means 720p, doesn't it? Which is a lower resolution than 1080p, and you know you're not getting the best picture quality. I mean, 1080p is kind of like the baseline now, isn't it? Everything above that is great. You don't really want to be dropping below 1080p unless you are building some sort of retro gaming system and want an old CRT display.
Yes, but I think even then, lots of the retro gaming stuff even gets upscaled now, doesn't it, to
Well, not only
fit
does it
on
get
the
upscaled, you can sort of software date it. Yeah, so you can
yeah.
like the Evercade Versus comes with a feature to add scan lines and things. So
Oh, nice. Yeah, I don't know, but I guess at the point of buying a television, if you're presented with the opportunity to go for a smart TV, at least if you know what you're getting yourself into, you can make a more informed decision regarding whether you go with a streaming stick or you try and use the integrated smart features of the television. So I guess the best thing is once you're in the store, ask the assistant, can I have a play around with the control and what have you, and figure out how it will suit you and the way that you already used your existing TV. I mean,
yeah,
obviously, unless you're going up from a dumb TV to a smart TV, then you won't necessarily get the same thing. But at least you'll get a feel for what's going to happen once you get the television home.
yeah. No, that's a good tip. Um, there's a lot more to be said for looking for a TV and buying a TV, and maybe that's something that we will touch upon in a future really useful podcast. What I would say is, though, that keep in mind expected the price of the TV that you're buying and its expected lifespan are probably linked. Our last TV we only had for 2 years, and it only cost £200. Now I'm pretty sure those two things are linked.
Yeah. So, well, what broke on your last? Did you say it was the HDMI outputs
All
broke?
three HDMI's broke. Yeah,
Oh, see, that's really bad, isn't it?
yeah,
All three.
all
That's
three. Well, a lot of HDMI devices, a lot of plugging and unplugging
yeah.
doesn't do the main board a lot of good, I suppose. We now have a splitter connected to one for the games consoles. We have the Roku with its own HDMI, and then we have a spare HDMI in the event of an accident with the other two. So I think HDMI isn't really sturdy enough for repeated plugging and unplugging. It's not like USB. So I guess that's why. But I think what I'm saying is, you've got the choice of a cheap TV or a smart TV, and you've also got the opportunity to use a TV stick. A TV stick is going to, from what I've seen so far, is going to last longer than a TV, probably. So it's thereby, and small and lightweight, they're inherently more flexible as it is. So it might be. I personally think that smart TV is a waste of time if you're using a TV stick, and they're cheaper than a TV. And I know the two things aren't the same, but what I'm saying is, you could pay a lot of money for a smart TV. If you can find the dumb version of that TV, then you've got a stick you can plug in that you can buy for, under $50.
Yeah, but I guess as we found out, finding that dumb TV might be
Yeah. Or you could do what I
impossible in
did
the
and just
first
disable.
place. You can try, yeah. Or
Yeah.
as you said, I mean, you could buy one of the ones that is categorized as technically as a monitor, and buy some speakers and plug it all in, and maybe it would cost you less overall. 4K monitor with a high refresh rate these days isn't that expensive in comparison to quite a decent television. So it may just be a cost analysis on a bit of paper and see where you'd set to earn and where you'd set to lose between the two different options.
Mm-hmm. So that's it. You have the great selection of TV streaming sticks, Amazon Fire TV stick or the Cube. We have the Roku options. We have the Apple TV options. You could use a Chromecast Ultra, but you'd be dependent very heavily on your phone or tablet at the same time. That might work for you. Whatever works for you is good. Alternatively, you can use a games console, which we haven't really talked about that much, but I don't think many people use the game consoles for TV streaming anyway. I could be wrong, and I'm happy to be proved that way. And existing TV streaming boxes, TV boxes with streaming capabilities, I should say, for cable TV or satellite TV, and also over-the-air old-style TV through an antenna. They also come with apps built in, as do some Blu-ray devices as well. Do you know what? I haven't seen a new Blu-ray device in ages. I'm wondering if people still buy Blu-ray.
They're definitely still in the supermarkets and what have you, aren't they? But I guess it's sort of like DVDs. They're just slowly being sort of phased out. I mean, I haven't bought a DVD or a Blu-ray in years at this point.
The last Blu-ray disc I got was for the new Bond movie, but I can't remember the last time I saw a player on a shelf, and I must have done because I've been in electronic stores, but I've certainly not noticed them. So unless we're at the point where pretty much everyone who wanted a Blu-ray has got a Blu-ray now, and they're that affordable to get one, maybe it could be that it's the market's already saturated on Blu-ray. We'll never know. Certainly not in the scope of this podcast. So basically, use the thing that works best for you. If you were looking for a recommendation, I would say the Roku, because it's just so easy to use and it's not intrusive, and it has all the apps, all the TV streaming apps that you need. Would you have a recommendation, Gavin?
I would say that although we did say about the issues with the Fire Stick, for our family's needs, it works perfectly well. You turn it on and Netflix is there and the kids can use it with ease. It never really seems to break down, other than maybe needing turning off and on again every now and then. And in terms of how technical it is, well, it isn't really, is it? You plug it in, you sign up, and jobs are good. And so in terms of overall usage for anybody that's worried about watching programs or wanting to stream their favorite show, you can't really go wrong with either of those options, I think.
Excellent. Couldn't put it better myself. Until next time, it's goodbye from us.